In the northwest of America lies a quiet town called Windale. Surrounded by dense forests and ominously rising mountains, it appears to be an ordinary place at first glance. But for years, this town has been home to a dreadful secret. Just outside the town, a road silently awaits, like a lurking predator. This is no ordinary path. It unveils people's fears, secrets, and mistakes. Rumors suggest the road only calls out to certain individuals. Most who set foot on it never return. The stories began in the 1950s. Truck drivers reported the road suddenly engulfed in fog, a feeling of time standing still. But the most chilling event was the disappearance of a young couple. Their car was found at the entrance of the road, doors wide open, but there was no trace of them. Every tale was more unsettling than the last. 1. The truck driver's encounter. A figure appeared on the road at night, only to vanish with the fog, leaving behind the sound of heavy breathing. 2. The hunter's nightmare. The road turned into a cliff, making the hunter feel as if each step would lead to his fall. 3. The farmer's trap. The road pulled the farmer forward relentlessly. When he tried to turn back, it pushed him even further away. The road's terror deepened with each passing year, turning it into more than a mere place. It became a sentient entity. The mysterious sign. At the road's entrance stood an old, rusted sign that only caught the attention of the brave. It bore an inscription: "If you turn back, you'll be lost. If you go forward, you'll never forget." The meaning of the sign was debated. Some believed it to be a warning, others a call. But one thing was clear. These words were meant for those who dared to uncover the road's secrets. The eerie tales of Windale's road didn't end there. Over the years, whispers began to circulate about strange happenings in the forests surrounding the road. Some claimed they could hear faint voices calling their names, while others spoke of an invisible presence following them. One of the town's oldest residents, an elderly woman who lived near the woods, shared a chilling story with a curious child. "Why does the road exist, Grandma?" the child asked. The old woman closed her eyes and took a deep breath before answering. "The road is a teacher, but what it teaches you, you may not live long enough to understand. Some people ignore life's lessons. The road forces you to see. It takes you to places you cannot escape from." Her words were cryptic, but they lingered in the air like a warning. A piece of wisdom few dared to consider. In 1984, a traveler camped near the road's entrance. By morning, his belongings were untouched, but the man had vanished. Among his items was a scribbled note: "The road opens only for those it calls." Those who sought to learn more about the road often never came back. What remained were cryptic markings, footprints swallowed by the fog, and final words echoing fear. In 1997, a journalist named John decided to investigate these tales. A skeptic, he believed these stories were exaggerated rumors. But upon arriving in Windale, he noticed the locals' reluctance to guide him to the road, which only fueled his curiosity. On his first night, a townsperson warned him, "If you enter that road, everything you see will be about you. The road forces you to face yourself." The next morning, John gathered his courage and approached the road. The sign at the entrance reminded him of all the stories he had heard. The words, "If you turn back, you'll be lost. If you go forward, you'll never forget," echoed in his mind. As he took his first step, the fog descended and the world fell silent. As John walked, the air grew heavy and the silence became suffocating. The road narrowed, trees twisted and intertwined, forming a tunnel. A deep hum emerged, as if something was moving within the fog. John's heartbeat quickened. Then a figure appeared in the mist. It moved slowly toward him, its stillness more terrifying than any motion. John tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. The figure retreated, and John instinctively followed. The road transformed abruptly. The solid ground vanished, replaced by a void beneath his feet. When John lifted his foot, the darkness seemed to pull at him. The figure paused momentarily before vanishing into the fog. Panic-stricken, John looked around, but the road had disappeared entirely. He was surrounded by an endless void. The fog thickened, pressing down on him like a weight. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. After John's disappearance, his journal was found at the road's entrance. The final entry left the townsfolk in shock. The road called to me, and now I am part of it. But the story didn't end there. In the following years, the road seemed to expand its reach. The fog crept beyond the path, encroaching on the outskirts of Windale. A local remarked on this growing menace, "The road doesn't just call you, it learns you, watches you, and sooner or later, it pulls you in." In 2003, a park ranger disappeared. His notebook contained these haunting words: "The road knows my fears. I wanted to turn back, but with every step, my past followed me. The road only lets you go forward, but the further you go, the more horrifying it becomes." Now, whispers circulate that the fog is advancing into Windale itself. The road behaves not as a location, but as a living entity. While its true nature remains a mystery, one thing is certain. This road is a test of courage, but not all tests lead to salvation. So, what about you? Would you dare step onto a path that reveals not only your fears, but your darkest secrets? Perhaps together we can uncover the mystery of Windale Road. But remember, some secrets are truths best left unknown.